life's a blur. Tires screeching, burn and stir. Adrenaline skies, we chase the high, pushing limits till we fly. The track is ours, no time to sleep. Concrete jungle, secrets keep. High velocity, endless grind, leaving fear and doubt behind. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Fuel the fire, stoke the flame, wrestling with the beast untamed. Rubber burning, gods collide. Victory whispers, feel the pride. Fuel the fire, stoke the flame, wrestling with the beast untamed. Rubber burning, gods collide. Victory whispers, feel the pride. Feel the courage, heartbeats loud. Raging thunder under clouds. No subletting, no retreat. Circle of warriors on repeat. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Our velocity on the field. On the field. Fuel the fire, stoke the flame, wrestling with the beast untamed. Rubber burning, gods collide. Victory whispers, feel the pride. Fuel the fire, stoke the flame, wrestling with the beast untamed. Rubber burning, gods collide. Victory whispers, feel the pride. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Our velocity on the field. On the field, on the field. Our velocity on the field. On the field, on the field. Engines roaring, life's a blur. Tires screeching, burn and stir. Adrenaline skies, we chase the high, pushing limits till we fly. The track is ours, no time to sleep. Concrete jungle, secrets keep. High velocity, endless grind, leaving fear and doubt behind. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Fuel the fire, stoke the flame, wrestling with the beast untamed. Rubber burning, gods collide. Victory whispers, feel the pride. Fuel the fire, stoke the flame, wrestling with the beast untamed. Rubber burning, gods collide. Victory whispers, feel the pride. Feel the courage, heartbeats loud. Raging thunder under clouds. No subletting, no retreat. Circle of warriors on repeat. Welcome to the HVRL, where we race through heaven or hell, fighting battle speed, our shield, high velocity on the field. Welcome to the Roaring, life's a blur. Tires screeching, burn and stir. Adrenaline skies, we chase the high, pushing limits till we fly.
Alrighty, everybody, here we are for the High Velocity Racing League Turnin Laps podcast. Matthew Chase, Chris Weiniger, and Sean Wilder here to go over all of the action in the last week of High Velocity Racing League. We did not have a broadcast last week other than the podcast because somebody went to the dirt track. That would be me. So no coverage on the Cup race last week, but we'll quickly go over kind of some of the stuff that happened at Nashville Superspeedway. This is the first round of the Championship 4. Quickly grab the Championship 4 graphic here as well. It's not full graphic, but we're going to go with it like this. Boom. So there's your Championship 4. We got Bryce Fontaine, C.D. Mangrum, and Ray Hanneman and Mason Tomlinson. That is the running order now after the race at Nashville Super Speedway. So Bryce, with a very dominant night, got himself 67 points and came away with a race win at Nashville.
That's what I heard. Didn't see much of it myself, but just looking at the stats afterwards, he seemed to have a pretty good night there. I think I've only raced on that track with the next gen car once or twice. It's not bad. You just have to, me personally, realize you got to go through the turns a little bit slower than what you think you can on it.
Yeah, we raced it with the trucks, and that was last season. And yeah, it felt like you had to definitely ease into the corners a lot more than I thought you even would with the trucks, just because of how planted the trucks are and how easy it is to just drive them around the track. But yeah, you had to really slow down, especially once the tires started to wear in for the trucks. And of course, this is before the patch that we just had with all the tire wear and the aero changes that they made. But yeah, I was shocked. Bryce did have pole position, led the most laps, the fastest lap, and dominated by winning both stages as well. So I just took a look at the bonus points and everything. So a real dominant night for the number 12. And, everybody else in the Championship 4 is going to be chasing him here as we go into the next race tonight at New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire should be interesting in those cars. I haven't really raced too many short tracks with that car, especially like flat like that. I mean, I guess the closest would be Martinsville, and that I've ran any laps on. So it'd be interesting to see how those cars act on that track, and I'm sure they'll put on a good show.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I played around with it a little bit earlier this evening. Just kind of see rough lap time. Obviously, I'm going to be slower than those guys, but I was in the mid 29 second range, just playing with it right off the bat. Similarities to IRP that we just came off of with the trucks this past weekend, as far as it just being flat turns. It's a little bit wider, the turns, as far as both ends of the track from, like, say, Martinsville. But no, I think it'll be a fun, entertaining race this evening.
Yeah, and as this is my home track, it's the one closest to me, basically, is all that is. I know pretty fondly about how to drive this track. There are 2 grooves. You've got the bottom line, and you've got about 2 lanes up from that. A lot of times that higher line is a better option, especially for exit purposes, down 2 and 4. Kind of giving away information for the Gen 6 car as well there with that, because Gen 6 is at New Hampshire this week as well. But yeah, running that high line seems to work a little bit better. But the bottom is also a very capable line. Just takes a little bit more wheel input and a little bit slower to get on the throttle as far as that goes. But it's going to be an interesting race tonight. I think it's 150 laps, I believe. I got to double check to make sure I'm right on that. Somebody else can actually do that, because I don't want to take this off of the screen.
Yeah, I'll grab it real quick.
I think it's 150.
You are correct. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So it's going to be,
150 laps and stages at 37 and 75.
which will be very similar to what we have in the final race of the season next Friday as well at Phoenix, with those both being a mile track. That one will also be the same distance and stage starts and finish. So it'll be easy for me to do do setup for the SDK and all that. So that'll be great. But yeah, I mean, flat oval. We haven't really had too much to really go off of as far as that goes, other than, like you said, a Martinsville. But Martinsville is a drastically different track. So, I mean, any thoughts on who we think is going to win tonight?
Well, I mean, I would definitely go with Bryce or CD. I would say. I mean, those seem to be the two that are always, battling at the front. I know there's been other guys that have been up there battling throughout the season with them. Pretty much all the guys that are they're left there racing or have been battling throughout the season. But I think just Bryce and CD pulled away a little bit, as the points would say as well. So I would go with one of them for sure.
Yeah, I had the same thoughts. I was leaning towards CD just because you've got that drive there because he's the one chasing down Bryce as far as for the season. So tonight's crucial. I mean, you've got the tonight and next week being the finale. So if CD doesn't have a good night points wise compared to Bryce, it's going to be a hard hill to climb next week. So I'm pulling for CD just so that we have a something close to watch for next week's finale.
Yeah, I mean, CD comes in 13 points behind Bryce. If he can't chip into that even just a little bit, he's going to have a hard task going into Phoenix. Hanneman and Tomlinson are both going to need really good nights as well. They are way behind the 8 ball. Hanneman now sitting 23 points behind Bryce, and Mason would be 26 behind Bryce. No, sorry, 26 behind Bryce. So yeah, it's going to be tough tasks for both of those guys to get back here into the hunt. They're going to have to really be pretty dominant tonight in order to put themselves in position to win a championship in Phoenix. But yeah, I think Bryce is always a capable driver. He's got 7 race wins this season. He's probably the likely favorite here tonight and tonight and next week rather, to go ahead and win himself the championship. CD's been quick. He's had a run of really good form. He almost swept the races in the round of 8 in order to get into this championship 4, and he finished with a P2 last week. So yeah, CD's on the hunt. Let's see what he can do this week, and I'm gonna pick CD as well. I think that he's going to have that aggression. He's been aggressive all season, but he's going to continue to show that aggression here and give himself a chance to win the championship here in Phoenix in a week.
Yeah, and as far as tonight, it's not just as far as trying to come away with the win. Got to focus on stage points as well.
Yep. Yeah, he's got to definitely beat Bryce in the stages, both of the stages if he can, and if he can do that, that'll propel him very well as well. So it's got to be a all-around performance all night long here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. All right, well, next up on the docket, we did IRP in the trucks. That was last Sunday, and we will hopefully I got the right one there. That was not the right one. That was the season standings. That was the race results. So let's see. So Bobby Grady qualified on the pole there, with Anthony Hall starting in the 2nd position, and Sean Wilder, you started 3rd. And man, trying to remember how the race went. Really, I mean, it felt like we didn't have as many cautions as we says we did. We had 25 cautions for 56 laps. I think there was a lot of extensions going on in that, so I think there's a handful of those added on there. But yeah, I mean, we had a short run at the beginning, and then a caution, and then we had another short run, another caution. We had a couple of decent green flag runs in there, and I remember really starting to be able to gain back once we got to that point. we were able to I was able to gain a lot of positions myself, just because people were pushing too hard, and it was a good race all around. I feel like, even though it was a lot more cautions than we have seen so far this season in the Truck Series.
Yeah, short track, that definitely seems to be what we found as the weak point for this series. Like I said, I mean, this whole season's been excellent comparative to previous season. But yeah, there was a lot of cautions through it. Felt like a lot of mess towards the back half of the field.
Can't confirm.
Wasn't too bad up front. I know you were saying that one stint at the beginning of the race. I was even saying on our team chat that it was just kind of follow the leader. We took the green and everybody sorted out, got in the single file line, and I think that was, what would you guys say, probably the top 12 to 15 trucks, just single file running around there. And then yeah, got that first caution, and then they just kept cycling through from there. It would have been interesting to see that race go a longer green stretch and actually get into pit stops and whatnot. We never did have a true green flag pit stop as far as fuel wise. I think, what were we, 22, 24 laps, somewhere in that range on the fuel for the trucks.
I think it was more than that. I thought it was.
No, it
Was
was
it
like 40. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like around 40.
Was it up?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
around 40.
I must be way off. Sorry, guys.
We did have
No, that's okay.
we did have a green flag run of about 20 to 25 laps at one point, I think, somewhere in that range, and then we got another caution. I'm trying to remember. I think it was stage 2.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So it was.
That's when I was able to. That's when I was able to pull away. I felt like the restarts kind of. I mean, we always say this. It breeds more cautions when you have all these restarts and stuff. But I think it's particularly true on this track because I felt like when I was in a group of cars, like it was really tough. Like you're trying to stay off the guy on top, but then they're trying to take advantage, and then you got a guy coming from the bottom trying to get you. And I was trying to be super cautious and not get caught up in a lot of stuff. And I felt like you got used up kind of if you took that cautious approach.
Yep.
And once we got strung out a little bit, I felt way more comfortable. I could still attack guys and still race guys, but without worry of 3 other guys coming around the outside and a guy coming on the inside, kind of thing. So I think once we got bunched back up, it kind of just created like not a panic situation, but everybody's trying to get as much as they can right off the get-go, and that's going to cause situations where people are going to get into contact with each other. So, but yeah, I mean, I love the track. I mean, if we could have just got a long run, I mean, that would have been a blast. I still had fun in the race. It was like you said, it was still a good race to me, really. I mean, I was up front a lot of the time, but still, it was just a fun track to race at, even in little short stints like that.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. Because I found myself in the back due to strategy, and it was a crapshoot back there. We were having all kinds of issues in the back, and as soon as that first caution came out, I'm like, oh, I can make it to the end if I pit now. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go in, grab the fuel. I don't need the tires. I'm just gonna get the fuel. And I went in, and 3 laps later, I was already damaged due to just people putting their truck where they probably shouldn't have, but making mistakes that we didn't see on the larger scale tracks or the road course as much. So, I mean, the short track brings that out. It always does. So,
yeah.
I mean, and realistically, it was not as bad as the fairgrounds. I feel safe in saying it was not as bad as the fairgrounds last season.
Yeah.
Fairgrounds, I felt like we were wrecking on the restarts before we even got into turn 1.
Yeah. Fairgrounds was a lot tighter and rougher. I mean, there were some pretty big dips at Fairgrounds. So, yeah, I think it was a lot more of a successful race in that aspect if you're comparing it to that short track from last season.
Well,
group of guys.
It was successful for somebody in particular here in the call too, because he was in the fortunate spot to get that race win on the last lap due to some shenanigans there.
Yeah, no, that was definitely felt like I stole a win there. I mean, I'll certainly take it. Um, yeah, I mean, they coming out of last turn for the checkered. Grady and Hall got into one another, and Shane was right there. And luckily, they got into each other after they got out of turn 4, and they were on the straight.
Yep.
And it left just a big enough hole for my truck to fit through on the top side, and Shane happened to be on the inside of me, so he had both of those trucks in his face. So.
Yep.
I think what was it? 200s.
200s. You
Of
beat
a
Grady back on
second.
the line.
Yeah. So, I hate it for him. I mean, he had a really good race.
Yeah.
Would have definitely loved to have seen him win it. If I wasn't in the position that I was in, but yeah, it was a fun race. I mean, we did what 170 laps there,
Yep.
and it was a quick 170.
35 minutes.
Mhm.
It did
Yeah,
not feel like
so-
that, but it was quick.
Yeah, so I mean, I know there were some frustrations out there, so I'm sure some of the guys thought that race took forever. It was a home track for me, so that was another cool aspect of getting that victory. I grew up about 20 minutes from that whole facility, so I've always known about IRP as a little kid, so that was one of my selections when we put this season together. So,
Well,
but-
I hope we keep it on the schedule for, I mean, all of our series. To tell you the truth, I think if you get a green flag run, I mean, this is like a pretty good track to be racing, and especially for a short track. I mean, I prefer it, in my opinion, to high speed Bristol, and even I would prefer it to Martinsville, which has the tight corners. I really do like I like North Wilkesboro, which is pretty similar to this track.
Yep.
In some aspects, but yeah, I love this track. It's a good track.
yeah, it's got a lot of room. I mean, it's just under 3/4 of a mile
Yep.
long, but for being flat and whatnot, it's really wide. Even the turns, because I mean, you naturally think that you're turning in and coming out of the turn sooner than where you're at on it. When I was practicing, I think I'd be like 3/4 of the way through the turn, thinking I need to get it straightened up and turned down for the next straight, and I'm not even near that point yet. So that always threw me off when I first started practicing there. But
It just felt like the Energizer Bunny. The turn just kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
never
for
felt
sure.
like you were out of it. But yeah, so we'll quickly run through the top 10. Chris, you got the win. Bobby Grady finishes P2. Shane Williams in third. Anthony Hall fourth. Mike Kufel, a top 5 for him. Justin Nava in 6th. Sean Wilder 7th. Dustin Bloodworth, he had some incidents, I believe, as well. He comes home 8th. KT McCann 9th. And Josh Presley rounding out the top 10. So good racing all around there for everybody.
Yeah, really. I
Yeah.
mean, I would say like Bobby Grady and Anthony Hall were class of the field. Really, I think throughout the whole race, I was trying to hang with them. At one point in stage 2, I was able to hang with them, but I mean, they were really the class of the field. The unfortunate, incident they had there out of 4. And Shane Williams, great race, dude. He came all the way from the back every single stage and finished 3rd. So that shows it can be done even on a short track.
It can be.
So
yeah, yep. Especially with the size of the field that we've got. I mean, short track racing. He's on the IPL list, getting an EOL each stage, and he got stage points each time, and then, like I said, come in 3rd. So, I mean, impressive race.
yes.
Quickly taking a look at the playoff standings. Chris and Noah Tills, Danny Gross, Mike Kufel, and Sean Wilder all locked into the playoffs right now. Bobby Grady leading the guys in the points that are still not locked in, with Ryan Seabolt now in 7th place, 2nd place in the points. Justin Nava in 8th. Myself and Justin Shoemate tied for 9th. And Anthony Hall and Shane Williams, those guys were both underneath the cut line. Now they find themselves both 14 points above it, tied for 11th place. And now Corey Moore and Dustin Bloodworth underneath the cut line with Mason Connell, KT McCann, and Josh Revel rounding out the top 17. So the best of the rest right there underneath that cut line. So good.
Yeah.
And then if we look at the team points real quick, K&W still leading the way at 831. Ohio Sim Syndicate, they've been doing a good job of chipping away. They're at 556 now. They're in second place. And then Holy Bible in third with 460. Thunder Valley right behind them at 456. And VB and SOG Racing both tied for fifth at 433. That's the top 5 in the team standings.
So a couple other things on trucks before we move on. Michigan this coming week is our last race of this section before we go into another review for the IPL list. So if you're right around that area of making that list, keep that in mind as you're competing this Sunday at Michigan, that you don't find yourself on that list when we go into a road course. So that'll be a big thing.
That it will. And yeah, it should be a good race this Sunday.
Yeah, I like Michigan. I'm looking forward to it. I think old A Ball is going to have a good week this week.
Sure.
He does good at these big tracks. You did good at Chicagoland. It seems like these bigger, higher speed tracks. You were doing good. Even it was an unfortunate incident you had there, but you were doing good at IRP too. You were in front of me, and I couldn't get past you at that point in the race for sure. So, yeah. I'm looking for you. You're going to do good this week.
I got loose, and I just, rather than getting in the way, I just stayed out of the way. I tried to make sure I didn't take anybody else. I've done that multiple times. Anytime I get into a situation where I overdo it, like last season at Richmond, I was sitting second and overdid it, and I kept myself away from everybody to make sure I didn't take anybody else out. That's just the way I've always been. If I get involved in something, I try to make sure nobody else is involved in it. That's just the way I am. But yeah, I do like the bigger tracks. Auto Club was a good race for me. Chicagoland was a good race for me. Last season at Las Vegas was a good race for me. Just don't put me on Kansas, apparently. Which is a great segue into the Gen 6.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
why you're the GOAT.
So yeah,
8-ball GOAT.
Gen 6. I'm something at Kansas, apparently. I am cursed at Kansas, but we'll get into this Gen 6 race here at Kansas. We raced it last Monday, 130 laps. We had 15 lead changes with 7 cautions. A couple of those were my fault, maybe only one, not sure. But yeah, it was a real rough race for me, but really good for a few others. And I had to get out of there early on in the race. I did not end up finishing last though, so that's good. But William Kern ends up taking home the Gen 6 win. I believe that's his third win.
I think it's his third one. Yeah, he even had to come back from being a lap down.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I passed him and he wasn't even a lap down. I knew something was wrong with his car or something.
I forgot.
But then he ended up a lap down and came all the way back. And we watching it today, and it was about he was running down some guys. I think he was holding back a little bit, but still, him holding back was still passing people, which is crazy. And he got up to KT and got around him with about 2 to go or so. And KT had a real good race, but Kern, that's his track, man. And he's fast usually anyways, but seems especially fast at that track,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember he got caught a lap down because of pits. We got green flag pit stops there, I believe, right? Is that what happened?
It was he got caught speeding.
That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. So yeah, he
it's
got
the
caught
first time
speeding.
he's ever done that.
Oh yeah, first
Yeah.
time. Yeah, first time ever. Yeah. We won't talk about the next gen series, how many times he got caught speeding on that one. But yeah, he had a good race. I believe he had the most points on track as well at 59, so he definitely earned the win. KT, like you said, real good race. He only ends up finishing about a half a second behind Kern at the end of it. Travis George, he comes home in third. Brandon Dayhoff, he's been having a heck of a season so far. all across HVRL, but he comes home in 4th, and Happy rounds out the top 5. Don Miller in 6th, Brent Escarino in 7th, Jace Keller 8th, Kevin Sully 9th, and Sean Wilder round out the top 10.
Yeah, it was an interesting race. Those cars, I think we're all kind of learning them. I really have never raced them until this, but they are interesting aero wise. Like we all know in practice or by yourself, you can just full throttle all the way around the track for probably what 12 to 15 laps. It felt
Yeah,
like
it
you
was
barely
something
even
like that.
cracking the throttle.
Yeah, we learned
But
real
once you get in the
quick.
pack, whole different story. Whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that during the race that was the most that I've felt aero on a car
Yep.
in anything that I've driven was those cars at Kansas. It was incredible the difference it made being in traffic.
Yeah, we really didn't even feel that at Indy. I mean, it wasn't that drastic.
No, it was really drastic at Kansas.
Because you just don't have to let it. It almost reminded me. I was thinking about it today because I watched back the race today when I was at work. I had it in the background. I tune in every once in a while, but it felt almost. Now I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, it almost feels like New Atlanta, like to where
Yeah.
you can go full throttle, but up in the corners, like you have to kind of let off and let it drift, or else or drift back down to your line. Otherwise, you end up straight into the wall or whatever.
Or
That's how I kind of equated it. But it's a different car for sure, man.
or similar to how the super speedway was Daytona at the beginning of the season. It was the same idea where how once you got into that corner, it would just start to just the nose would almost come up off the ground and it would just drift up the track. That's how it felt if you didn't get the right line. You had to let off and you could hit it. You could get right back on throttle almost immediately, but you had to let that car set down into the corner to get it set and yaw out a little bit for you. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just that and huge runs. You can get a huge run on somebody, and then you get to the corner, and then what are you going to do with it? That was kind
Right,
of
yeah.
the dilemma of the race. I thought,
You take them outside. You go to the outside and get by them. You just keep that momentum up. That's
I
all
know.
it really came down to. I did it a ton of times until I found myself in a bad position. But yeah, we won't talk about that. We'll talk about the season standings and the playoff picture right now. How Bobby Grady, Kevin Fry, William Kern, and Bryce Tucker all locked into the playoffs right now. Happy leading the points as far as the non-win people. He is 94 above the cut line. Wilder second in the points for the non-win getters yet. Brandon Dayhoff third in the points. KT McCann, he is in 8th right now. Travis George 9th. Chris Weiniger 10th. Don Miller and myself rounding out the people above the cut line, but I am dangerously close to it. 7 above with Randy Post chasing me down, as is Justin Nava, Jace Keller, Andre Carvalho, and Josh Parker. Playoff.
Yeah, I think Travis George is he's had some bad luck this season, as we know in the radio chat during the race. He's gonna be marching up the charts here pretty quick.
I mean, Rockingham, he had a quick car, got taken out on the first lap. Sonoma, he was fast, lost power. I mean,
yeah,
it's coming. He's gonna get a win. He's gonna get a win this season. He's so fast.
Yeah. I agree.
And playoff points right now. We'll take a look at that. Will is just running away with the playoff points right now. 20 playoff points for him, so he's just been so dominant so far. Those 3 race wins will really, really help that out as well. Bryce Tucker with 8, Bobby Grady with 6, as well as Kevin Fry. Wilder and George both having 1 each from stage wins, so those will play a factor once we get to the playoff time. Team points, we only have 4 teams, but Regulators lead the way at 655. K&W is right behind them, chasing them down at 643. Holy Bible at 478, and SOG sitting at 345. And next week, we are also, like I alluded to, at New Hampshire on Monday. I know that we have gotten some laps in each individually. How are we feeling going into New Hampshire this week?
Not too bad, just because of the comparison with IRP. So, qualifying time for me, I won't be up towards the top. I mean, kind of like I was with the trucks at IRP, but race pace is going to be totally different than trying to throw down a hot lap. But I feel pretty good about it. It's not too bad of a track. I mean, I just purchased it this last week, so I don't have a ton of experience and haven't actually been on track with other cars. So we'll see how it goes for myself. How about you, Waller?
It's a lot like IRP, I think. I don't think there's as many lanes as IRP. IRP has kind of that progressive banking. There is none of that here really. But you could run, I would say, that second groove up from the bottom, or even a little bit outside that asphalt patch, or is that concrete patch on the,
Yep.
in the bottom of the turns. I mean, you could run that outside line, which, I mean, you could run that outside line and kind of cut it down like you can at IRP too. So it got a little loose off the corners, and you're kind of trail breaking in, and trying to throttle control on the way out. I mean, I think that makes for good racing. So hopefully we're able to put on a good show, and yeah, I mean, I think it should be fun. I don't know how good I'm going to do, but we'll see.
It's a shame we can't put rain tires on it like they did this past season at New Hampshire and make it a fun race. Because I was at that race and it was a blast. We had me and my buddy had a blast at New Hampshire last season. But yeah, I'm hopeful. Like I said, home track for me. So if I can finish top 5, I'd be happy. I would like to get a win there, but I don't see it happening. Not in that car. But we'll see. Who knows? It could surprise. We could surprise everybody, you know. So, but yeah. That will do it for Gen 6. Now we are going to go to the big league here and talk about the ARCA series at IRP. And Wilder, we'll pass it off to you. You were there. How was the racing at IRP in the ARCA car?
Well, I mean, we still had plenty of cautions, but I think like overall, like they had more green flag runs of 10 or more laps, I would say. And they had one pretty long one where it was actually some green flag pit stops, and some strategy really came into play. A couple of the faster guys kind of waited to pit and they waited to pit and they got kind of trapped a lap down, or the opposite. Yeah, they pitted early and maybe got trapped a lap down. But there was some strategy, and I think it was good racing. I mean, we had a good top, like probably 8 guys, like really racing hard at the front, and then then another middle group, I felt. And but yeah, it was pretty clean. It wasn't as clean as our Chicagoland race, but I mean, this is clean as you could expect on a short track for these guys, and a lot of them are still learning. So, but Drew was definitely fast. Dayhoff came away with the win there. He was really fast. Thad Miller did a good job, and there were some other guys that were faster that just didn't get the finish. But overall, I think it was a good race for a short track race. I mean, for somewhat beginner league. I know some guys are not beginners, but it was a good race.
You guys still had over 30 cars on there, so I mean,
Yeah.
That's a full track.
Yeah.
For sure.
And not only that, I mean, this is the second short track that they've run, right? They've had the Milwaukee Mile and now this. And both of those races have been really, really good, right?
Yeah, and they're similar tracks too. I mean, I would equate Milwaukee Mile more to New Hampshire, but they're very similar.
Yeah.
I would say they were having a problem with this car getting loose, real loose off the corners. I mean, we saw it a little bit in the trucks, but I think it was more prevalent in these ARCA cars, which I've never really felt all that much in the ARCA cars. So I don't know if that's just how they're driving it or whatever, but they were all saying it was a pretty loose car. So, I mean, to have the cautions, we had cautions, but I felt like they had more green flags than, green flag runs that even we have in the truck. So, I mean, that's pretty good for them. I mean, a lot of guys were a lap down. There was only 5 or 6 guys on the lead lap, but that was due to being trapped down under a green flag pitting, which I'm sure a lot of these guys are kind of new to it. So like the green flag pitting and strategy part of it kind of, is not like their number one top thing they're thinking of. They're just trying to make it around the track cleanly. And so that's kind of secondary. So I think they'll just kind of learn that as they go through this progression. At least that's what we want, with the series. So I think it's good they kind of see that, but it was a fun race to watch, man. It was a good battle at the front for sure. Of about, like I said, about 5 to 8 cars, a mix of different guys up there, but good track for these cars, I think.
Yeah, we'll quickly run over the top 10 here. Brandon Dayhoff, like you mentioned, does take home the win. Thad Miller in second. Forrest Martin in third. Cale Dees fourth. Sean McLean rounding out the top 5 with James Bolka in sixth. Braden Deeney in seventh. I think I got that right this time. Josh Revel in eighth. Jace Keller ninth. And Drew Halloran will come home in 10th. I know you mentioned he was quick. He did have the fastest lap of the race. And you got caught down two laps. So I'm guessing that had to do with that pit strategy with caution coming out at the right time or wrong time for him.
Yeah, I did, and then I think he was just in my opinion. I don't know, but it felt like he was trying to push to get around a bunch of guys, and I think he hit the wall. He had a little pit road incident, I would say, and but he was fast, and I know Jace Keller was fast too. He ended up upside down on this track. I don't know how to do it, but he did it. Good job, Jace. Ended up upside down, but he battled back and he was pretty fast as well. In the 16, Braden was pretty fast too. I mean, I know the feeling when you get trapped a lap down, and I think that kind of, initiates a whole nother level of wanting to drive through people or get to the front, So I think that's what happened to a couple of these guys,
Yeah.
No, I was feeling that during the Gen 6 race this last week. So, no, I get that as far as feeling like you got to push extra hard to try and figure out a way to get that lap back.
Right.
All right, let's take a look at the race for the chase. Leading the way, Brandon Dayhoff. He's got a 114-point cushion to the cut line, leading the points. With Drew Halloran in second. Thad Miller third. Forrest Martin fourth. John Shields in fifth. Jace Keller is in sixth. Quinn McLean seventh. Josh Revel eighth. Sean McLean ninth. John Stapleton he will round out the top 10. Brent Escarino in 11th, and James Bolka on the cut line. He's got a 4-point lead over that cut line. Ryan Stevenson right below it in 13th place, with Cale Dees and Brent McKee tied for 14th, 7 back from the cut line. Corey Moore in 16th, he's 14 back, and Reno Connor in 17th, 21 points behind the 12th place car of James Bolka. So not too bad for those guys.
That's pretty tight around that cut line. So finishing out this regular season, all those guys, you want to make sure that you show up for the races and don't take a provisional, especially with the size of field that the ARCA guys are bringing each week.
Yep. And looking at the the team points rather, we've got the Orange Lemons leading the way at 453 with Texio at 382, Revolution Racing 379, Holy Bible in fourth with 372, and Rushmore Racing in fifth with 324.
Yeah, I mean, then we go to what's the next? Oh man, I don't even know the next race.
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Yeah, that's right. So turns 3 and 4, those are wonderful.
We remember those fondly, don't we?
Absolutely. That's everybody's question whenever they first start that track. They're like, what's a good lap time and what's up with 3 and 4?
Yeah, we've always talked about how bad a track would be if they put Texas 1 and 2 with Kentucky's 3 and 4. And yeah, no, that would be probably one of the worst tracks on the circuit if they did that. So let's not even consider doing it for real, please.
That would be horrible.
But no, we had a good time in Kentucky with the trucks. It's a good
Yeah.
it's an interesting track. It's a fun track. If you can nail 3 and 4, that's going to be the hardest part of this entire race for these ARCA guys is making sure they nail 3 and 4, because if you don't, you're going to be drifting up the track, and if there's a guy above you, you're going to be taking him out, and there's going to be some incidents. I think 3 and 4 will be the danger zone for a lot of drivers in the ARCA series this coming week. So yeah, just be aware of what's around you in that flat, weird turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I would say just back up 3, your turn in there a little bit, and focus on coming off of 4 and carrying your speed there. So
trail braking, I think, is going to be important here as well for turn 3 at the very least. I mean, you don't have to worry about it too much in 1 and 2. It should be pretty easy part of the track, but turn 3, I mean, just a little bit of trail braking, even early on, you'll be able to save some tires that way, I think, too.
oh, for sure. Yeah, I would say 1 and 2 is your typical style of track on that end and how to handle it. But yeah, 3 and 4 is where I think you'll see guys being able to make their way to the front, win the race, or lose the race because of tearing up their tires.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, I think the track separates the real fast short run guys from the the long run guys that can save their tires. So I think that's one thing this track does well as far as that. You can't, it's not Vegas where you can just full throttle all the way around, or some of these other tracks. You got to really pay attention to your corner entry and stuff. So should be fun.
And we saw that in the trucks as well, that it really separated the guys who could save their tires and who couldn't. Late run, if you were able to save those tires, you were finding your way to the front. And if you couldn't, well, you better hope it's caution quick so you can cool them off and get it back to a good spot for you. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting race for those ARCA guys, and be interested to see what happens and tuning into it. So,
Absolutely.
anything else we want to go over before we finish it up here? We kind of went record time through it because we started a little bit late here, but
I think we went through everything. Looking forward to the race tonight and the upcoming races this next week, and coming back and talking about them again.
Yep, 2 more races in the cup in the next gen season, so definitely want to watch out for those. The one tonight should be interesting at New Hampshire, and we'll maybe kind of see what we can expect from the Gen 6 in a couple of days' time as well from this race. I know that the cars drive a little bit different, but it should be an interesting race tonight, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us here. We'll be back shortly with the pre-race coverage for the next gen race. It'll be just myself up here in the booth, but we will be right back in about 20 minutes time to go over the pre-race stuff. So we'll see you in about that 20 minutes.